people who, or if you can mute yourselves if you're not speaking. Thank you.
There was a message from somebody about not being able to hear. Who was that?
That's Gina Marino.
Gina, can you hear us?
Lisa, I can't hear anything.
I can hear you, Gina.
Connect to video system? Switch audio? Switch audio. Did you try that? I didn't do anything. No, disconnect. You were using audio for computer. I don't know.
Three of us from the commission on right now, so we're going to have to wait a bit. I know Noreen is not coming. I have not heard from anyone else. And Jennifer Evans is West Hartford Community Interactive.
Aimee, I have a social work intern working with me. She's off today, but she may be joining us. Her name is Shailene Cruz.
Can you spell that?
Shayline.
Okay.
And the last name is Cruz.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, there's Bob Kennedy coming.
Hello, Aimee. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing order at 10:03 a.m.
And the first order of business is to introduce our recording secretary. Anne, can you wave at everybody? Anne Visiglio, is that right?
No, it's Visiglio.
Visiglio, thank you.
Got it, you got it.
Is volunteering now as a recording secretary. So when you speak, particularly if you're only a phone number, if you could identify yourself, that will help her tremendously. And thank you, Anne, for volunteering. I really appreciate it. We need to review and approve the minutes of the January 15th meeting. And thank you to Bob Kennedy for taking them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, they will be approved as they stand. And now for the chairman's report. First of all, thank you for your vote of confidence in asking me to work with you all on the commission and to chair the commission. I really appreciate it. I know it's going to be very hard for me to fill Phil's shoes, but I will certainly give it a try. And I want to thank him so much for all his active years with the commission. He was a joy to work with, and I know you all agree with me on that. I would like to welcome Rebecca Hajosi. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, good. She joined the commission in January, and we're very glad to have her. And I don't know if you are aware, but Bray Gunter resigned from the commission. So excuse me, there is a seat that needs to be filled. If you have suggestions for someone you would like to recommend, please get those suggestions to me and or to Helen. And we'd love to have somebody new join us. So be thinking about that, please. And I'm going to let Helen talk about the Sustainability Committee when she gives her report. Excuse me, I need some water.
Yeah,
there is a change in the agenda today. Aimee Krauss from the West Hartford Bloomfield Health District is not able to be with us. I'm sure you can imagine that she and her office are swamped with getting the vaccinations out. And in her place, we're going to have Helen Rubino Turco, Director of Leisure and Social Services, bring us some information about the vaccine info line and Parks and Recreation report. Helen, are you ready for us?
I am. Thank you, Aimee. So I just wanted to remind everyone that, we still are following safety protocols for the COVID-19 pandemic, but the governor's executive orders are expected to expire on April 20th. And so after that time, there will be probably a period of transition when we begin to have in-person meetings as opposed to having virtual meetings. So we will hear more about that from the town manager as the month of April progresses. But there are plans to slowly reopen some of our facilities that are currently closed. So for example, Town Hall, we're developing a plan to gradually open Town Hall with some safety protocols in place so that visitors can come to attend appointments in person. We do, and this would be from April 5th forward. So again, these are going to be rolled out slowly, and the town manager will explain it to all employees as well as to the general public about access to public buildings. So So right now, if you wanted to come to town hall, you would come here, but the doors are locked, and you make a phone call to the person that you want to talk to or meet, and they can come up and meet with you outside. So this might change after April 5th, where people can make an appointment to come, but they would still be met with some security and safety protocols in the lobby. So you might conduct your business in the lobby, or you might also still meet outside. But we are exploring ways to, after April 5th, to kind of reopen and while still following safety protocols, that is mask wearing and hand washing and social distancing. The vaccination, as you know, program has been expanded, and also the age categories have shifted as of yesterday. So beginning this Friday, people who are 55 and older can receive, can apply for a vaccination appointment. And on I think on April 5th or April
5th, April.
5th, then everyone 18 and over can request an appointment. So many of us have, certainly in this group, may have already received both of their vaccinations, or certainly received one of their 2 vaccinations, if they're not getting the J&J. We do expect that this Friday, the rest of the educators in West Hartford are going to be vaccinated. So a whole bunch of them, I think 75%, were vaccinated on around March 6th. It was a Friday and a Saturday effort. So many of our educators received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and the remainder, I believe, are scheduled for this Friday. If you know someone that is 18 and up, they can receive the Moderna or the Johnson & Johnson. But if they're 16 and up, they should only get, if they're 16 or 17 years old, they should only get the Pfizer one. That's the one that's been approved for 16 and 17-year-olds. So again, this is coming faster than anticipated. In Connecticut, we are, I think, like 4th in the nation in our per capita for vaccinating our population, which is excellent. But it does make people a little bit afraid to relax, and we don't want to relax the protocols. We want to continue with our protocols until everyone has been vaccinated the second time, 2 weeks after they've been vaccinated the second time. So I have 23-year-old family members living at home, so they might not get vaccinated until sometime in April. Then their second vaccination will be sometime in May, and 2 weeks after that would be when we can feel like we can take a deep breath. Well, this is still not out of the woods, but certainly there's light at the end of the tunnel. If people are curious or have questions about the vaccination process, or they're frustrated by not being able to get an appointment, they should call the vaccination support line. It is being staffed first by librarians, and then they often will take down the information, and we have 2 members of our senior center staff supporting this, Gina Marino, as well as the health district and social services, particularly Karen Paquette. So the vaccination support line is 860-561-6998. That's 561-6998. And that you will get someone to answer the phone during office hours, and even on Saturday from 10 to 1. So they're very helpful. You may get a call back. You may just give your name and what your question is, and someone might be able to help you right away, or someone will call you back. And we have received hundreds of calls. I'm just going to see if I can get the latest number for you. But we're receiving information. Well, I'll try and get that for you towards the end of the meeting on how many calls we've gotten, but it's like more than 500. And it's been up for a couple 6 weeks now, 7 weeks. So again, one of the main questions for this group is, when is the senior center going to open? And Gina is working on a plan to slowly, open up the senior center. And Gina, can you just talk a little bit about what your ideas are?
Sure. We've been following what other senior centers are doing and looking at the governor's reopening plan, and they have one specifically for senior centers. What we will do is have by appointment initially for certain activities. We're hoping to open our fitness centers first, because that has been the most calls we've been getting are from people that want to work out. Probably table tennis at Elmwood. That's another group that's very enthusiastic about coming out. We are also in the process of ordering tents for each facility for the lower lot at Elmwood and for up here at Bishop's Corner, that will allow us to do some smaller activities outside. So we're just little by little, we'll open up slowly. We do have staffing issues right now because we do not have very many staff. So we will be hiring people. If you, their clerk twos is what they would be called. So if you know anyone that is interested in working, there's actually a job description that Marla put up for the Leisure Services Office, and we will be sharing the pool of candidates for that and interview. So if you know someone who is technically savvy and good with elderly, that's what we're looking for. So our main goals in the next upcoming month is transitioning to some in-person programming, hopefully, but to have all our rules and regs listed out and how we're going to handle this. It's exciting. It's very exciting. We can't wait to welcome people back. We've had a little taste of it with our AARP income tax program. We have 2 counselors here twice a week, and the seniors are coming into the parking lot, calling, the counselors going out, grabbing their documents, bringing them into the senior center, scanning them, and then bringing them back. So we have a little bit of movement there. The only seniors that are allowed in the building are the ones that are walking or that can't wait out in their cars, and they're in an isolated area. So we've had a little taste of that. We are doing a few spring things outside. I'll save that for my actual presentation or my report. But we're looking at what we can do besides our grab and goes, which have been very popular, and that's been outside and very safe. So
Thank you, Gina.
you're welcome.
Helen, back to you.
Thank you. So again, I just wanted to thank Gina for just doing a really thoughtful reopening. We do feel like we can reopen soon, the fitness center by appointment only, do cleaning protocols in between. And again, what we're asking ourselves is what the governor has asked ourselves to ask, and that is, can this activity still be done virtually? And making sure that we stay physically distant from each other. How long is the program? How many people can participate and still remain socially distant? So these are all questions that Gina's asking herself as she reopens our centers. Other centers have remained open. Cornerstone Aquatic Center is still operating with protocols in place. They'll continue to do so, but I suspect that soon they will begin to welcome new members. So if you're thinking about a membership at Cornerstone, right now they're not taking new members because they want to be able to serve the membership that they have now in a safe way. But as protocols relax, they will be opening up for new memberships again. Does anyone have any questions about the vaccination programs, the rollout, or anything about the COVID restrictions?
Helen, what about reaching out to the homebound?
Certainly. We do have a program that was established by the health department and the fire department, and it's called the ARCH program. And that helps vaccinate residents who are homebound. And if you are homebound, you can call the vaccination line and they'll help you fill out a form. That form can be also filled out on the town's website, and it'll be submitted to the health department. And someone from the health department will contact you to confirm your mobility issues and will make arrangements for a homebound vaccination. And it has been rolled out in February. I think we began on February 10th, and they've been doing it every Wednesday. They can do 10 people each day, each time they go. And so they're slowly working through that list of people. But it's a wonderful program where they come and they will vaccinate you at home and then stay with you for 15 minutes to make sure that you're not having any reaction. And then they move on to their next location.
Beth, you had a question?
Yes. Is there any indication that there are seniors who are still reticent to get vaccinated? And what are we doing about any trying to convince them to be vaccinated?
I have not heard of any such questions or concerns. We have had 740 phone calls into our vaccination line. I was just checking, and every couple of days I checked, the kinds of messages that are coming through. Is it safe? I'm not hearing any pushback from those 700 callers saying that they're reticent to receive the vaccination.
Okay.
Rosemary, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Anybody else, Karen?
Yeah. Is there any update on residents being able to call the health district directly for an appointment on that program?
So what the health district is doing is they have purchased an electronic medical record, which will allow people not to go through VAMS, but go through our local health district. They're continuing to get that set up, and it is not yet functioning full bore. But when it does, we will be sure to widely share that information, because that will allow the health district to set up a vaccination for someone that doesn't have a computer or isn't computer savvy, as well as people who need assistance in registering. So we do anticipate that more vaccinations are going to be readily available. The health district is expecting an additional delivery of Johnson & Johnson the week of March 29th. So that will certainly help us in getting vaccinations into people's arms as quickly as possible.
Are there other questions for Helen? Helen, do you want to talk about the Sustainability Advisory Group?
Certainly. So an invitation has been extended to the West Hartford community to join a sustainability task force. And they are looking for a group of about 20 residents that reflect a diversity of voices and interests from across the community. If you're interested in being on this committee, you're requested to send a short statement of interest, 250 to 500 words, to S.E. LeBreau, who is our town clerk, by the end of March 31st. There is a flyer that we can send to you. I don't know if Aimee, if it was already sent out to this group.
No, I don't believe so.
But the subject matter or that we would be discussing and that we hope to find people with some background in is natural resources, environment, equity, economic development, arts and cultural, public health, planning, energy, materials management, transportation, or a passion for sustainability related action and planning. So this is the kind of people they're looking for. It would be great to have a representation of our senior community involved in this sustainability task force. So if anyone is interested or they want to receive the announcement, feel free to contact me or contact Essie LeBreau directly at her first name is SEESSIE dot LeBreau, LABROT at westhartfordct.gov.
Any questions for Helen? Thank you so much, Helen.
I wanted to give a brief update on capital improvements and park planning, if that's
Great.
okay. Okay.
Sure.
So I just wanted to give a rundown of some projects that we've recently just completed, as well as some that are about to start. So that when you see some activity around town and someone asks you, what's going on over there, you will have an answer. At Whiting Lane Park, which is right next to Whiting Lane School, we have just completed 2 projects. One is the renovation of the tennis courts. There's 2 tennis courts there, as well as the lower soccer field. And that was also done with some funding from a nonprofit organization, Field of Dreams, that raises money for soccer improvements. So some nice improvements at Whiting Lane Park. Also at Eisenhower Park on the north side of town, we recently completed the replacement of a standalone restroom that's in the middle of the park. And this is now an ADA compliant, 2 single-use unisex restrooms, stalls that can be utilized by the public. So that's what we're trying to do, again, is in a thoughtful way, in a systematic way, to increase handicapped accessibility in our public parks. And that's an example of that. Another project that is in the process of being completed is the pond restoration at McGovern Pond. McGovern Pond is in Spicebush Swamp, which is on Mountain Road. And we chose to dredge it in the depths of the coldest part of the winter so that we would not disturb the wildlife. 1 fish died, and 1 turtle had to be rescued and put back in the water. So I thought that was excellent in terms of damage. But what we did is that pond is actually a man-made pond. It's along the Trout Brook, so it's formed by the park. The stream is diverted into that pond, and then it continues on its way. But from the upstream, over the course of the last 20 years, lots of sand. We used to use sand on our roadways to mitigate ice and snow, as well as just debris and trash have accumulated, particularly at the beginning of the pond where the water rushes in at the beginning. And so we cleaned out the forebay where there's a nice deep hole and took out 1,300 cubic yards of, dredged material, some of which was, leaves and organic material, but a lot of it was sand and trash. And we carted it upstream into a meadow nearby where it's drained safely. And now we're going to even it out and crown it and feed that meadow back with grasses and wildflowers. And then we're now going to turn our attention as well to doing some restoration around the pond, reintroducing native species like witch hazel, spicebush, which is a plant, and some other plant-loving shrubs and trees, and also planting some additional trees in the understory of the forest edges that surround the pond. So it's pretty exciting. Last year, this was area was designated a trout park. So we do receive a donation of trout every year from Deep. And so we're excited about that restoration. So are they. And they plan to stock it in April after we're finished with the restoring the banks. Some upcoming projects include the entrance at Westmore Park to the Hunter House, which is our nature center. The front stairs need to be replaced, but in order to replace them, we also want to replace the ramp, the handicapped accessible ramp that goes up to the front of the building. So it's no longer ADA compliant. We want to make sure that that building is accessible. So that process is about to begin with some design work. And another upcoming project is the western parking lot at Walcott Park. This is the parking lot that is on the Chatfield side of Walcott Park, near the tennis courts, the pickleball courts, and the basketball courts over on that more active side. And this is a part of a staged year, multi-year restoration work that we're doing in Walcott Park. Much of the project is being funded, well, 3/4 of the project is being funded by a state grant, and the rest is being funded by town dollars. So that will begin, it has already been designed and will probably begin this spring and be finished by the end of the summer. So other projects that have already happened in Walcott Park, if you've been there recently, is that the basketball and the tennis courts have been replaced with post-tension concrete, which is going to save us a boatload on crack sealing and maintenance projects over their lifetime of these facilities, these amenities. We did renovate 2 of the 6 tennis courts into pickleball courts, which is very, very popular. And Gina can talk a little bit about that in a minute, if she dares. Those pickleball people are very enthusiastic. That's a different way of saying they're completely crazy. But we love it. Crazy is good. Crazy is good if you want to exercise. The other projects that have been completed there are the lighting infrastructure has been upgraded. It couldn't sustain, lighting, lighting for, it's our only lit park, and the old system couldn't handle these more sustainable light bulbs. The whole system just was failing, and so we had to kind of do all this behind the scenes work, which has all been completed. And the last part that you might like is that the community gardens were also upgraded, new fencing to keep the varmints out. Apparently there's varmints in West Hartford, and they were bothersome. The eastern side of the park will be undergo some restoration in the next year or two. So that involves tearing down the building, replacing it with some ADA compliant restrooms that are suitable for that neighborhood, as well as a new splash pad and new playground, and kind of reworking the parking lot there to make it more user friendly. So I know that's a lot to take in. We do have some other smaller projects that are always ongoing, but we do welcome input whenever we can. The biggest project that we have, there's 2 projects coming down the pike. One is a restoration park planning for Kennedy Park. That's the next park on our list. So we will be reaching out to this group to participate in some park planning when that gets started, probably this fall. And the last, which you may or may not have heard, is that the town is considering the acquisition of a property in the Elmwood section of town to be used for the consolidation of multiple town services in that region. So you'll be hearing more about this potential change or this acquisition. Nothing is going to happen quickly, but we are looking to acquire a piece of property that would allow us to build a brand new community center, senior center, library, and other potential amenities. So that's very exciting, but we won't really be able to talk about this for another couple of weeks.
Well, hopefully you'll come back to us when we can talk about that. That's very exciting.
Exactly.
Any comments or questions for Helen? Okay, moving down the agenda. Karen, you're up next.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we continue to be very busy working the same schedule, staggering our staff in and out of the office. We are down a social worker. We lost one of our social workers who left to take another position. And we also have a part-time position that we're looking to fill. So we are pretty busy right now. I am excited to announce that we have a social work intern that is working with us from Eastern Connecticut State University. She's a senior there, getting her bachelor's in social work. Shailene Cruz is on the line. She's very bright, eager to learn, and willing to take any task that we throw her way. So we're really happy to have her. The food pantry remains very active and giving out increasing amounts of food on a shorter schedule. We have a large group of volunteers that's been helping, and we're very, very grateful to them, not only with food distribution, but delivery to homebound people. The telephone reassurance, no, the telephone reassurance is continuing. The medical escort and the friendly visitor is still on hold. Dial-a-Ride continues. That program membership renews every July 1st. So anybody looking to renew or to join right now can join at a reduced membership rate of $35. And then July 1st, they'll be asked to renew for the full year. The Energy Assistance Program is also continuing remotely. They've also been extremely busy. There's a lot going on and a lot of constant changes regarding the utility companies, what they have to do, what they have to offer people, the shut-off moratoriums. And so if anyone has any questions, just direct them to social services, and we will try to answer those questions or direct them to the best place. We are gearing up once again for renter's rebate. It's scheduled to start April 1st. And as of now, we're going to be doing that remotely as well, like we did last year, by mail and fax and dropping documents off. The Choices program continues to work remotely. Open enrollment is over, but volunteers continue to assist all year round. We still have face masks if anybody needs them. Let's see, Helen spoke about the vaccine helpline, the homebound program. One bit of good news that we did get is, I've been talking about how we're concerned about evictions. Yesterday, a new program opened up to help people who fell behind on rent and utilities this time due to COVID. And the state got quite a bit of money, and it sounds like they've really done a lot to make the program accessible to people. It's an online application, but they've added a lot of sites and assistance lines for those people, and mobile vans and things for people that don't have access to a computer or a smartphone. So we're hoping that is going to help a lot of our residents.
Karen, what's the name of that? What's the name of that program?
It's called Unite CT.
Thank you.
I can, would you like the website? I can look up the website and give it to you.
No, Unite CT is enough.
Okay. All right. And that's pretty much it for social services at this time. Does anybody have any other questions?
I don't see any. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, everybody.
Next would be the Seniors Job Bank, and Sheila Diamond could not be with us this morning. Gail, do you have anything you'd like to speak about?
Well, you've sort of put me on the spot. The Senior Job Bank is continuing to receive applications or requests from job seekers who are looking for work. As we are entering into the spring season, which tends to be our heaviest request time, particularly for individuals looking for help around their house, inside or out. So we expect that to continue to uptick as the weather is getting better. We also have been reaching out into the community to try to diversify our board. And I'm happy to say we have several people under consideration from the community who've expressed an interest in becoming board members. We have been the recipients of several grants, frankly, which have been surprising and welcoming to our budget, because as you know, we are a not-for-profit, and the way in which we get our revenue is through grants and contributions from different individuals or groups. Sheila is also embarking heavily in reaching out into the business community to make the Senior Job Bank more familiarly known, and not just in West Hartford, but we're looking at our surrounding towns who are also part of the Senior Job Bank. So we're talking Newington, Weathersfield, Rocky Hill. We already were covering Simsbury and Granbury. Granby, I can't believe I said Granbury, and Avon. And we've also gotten quite a few individuals from Hartford contacting us looking for work. So she is going to hopefully, as we continue to open up more in the community, go to the chambers of commerce where they are in those towns, and basically pitch the Senior Job Bank. So we've been busy. We're still growing, and I think that's about all I can report. Unexpectedly being asked to speak, I would have come prepared had I known. And Sheila and I talk regularly, so she probably didn't realize I was planning to come to the meeting, since I am the vice president, so I would be able to speak on behalf of the group. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gail. You did a great job. Does anyone have questions for Gail? Thank you again, Gail. Okay, Kevin, transportation for seniors, you're up.
Yes, hi, good morning. We have recently had many of our riders and drivers become partially or fully vaccinated. So people are optimistic and hopeful and ready to do more in the community. So we're certainly excited about that. As always, we are looking for and need additional drivers. We've had drivers during COVID-19 sit on the sidelines out of caution, and now they're coming back slowly. But our rider community is also coming back, and so we do need additional drivers. So if anyone has any thoughts in those areas? It's a great gig for somebody who has a little bit of time here and there to help out in the community. We have been supported very well by individuals in the community because much of our revenue comes from the community and the remainder from user fees from our riders. We do charge a reasonable fare for rides, substantially lower than Uber, Lyft, or taxis, and so we need to supplement that with support from the community. We have exceeded our goal for this fiscal year for individual contributions because people have been very generous, and we appreciate that. And we still are looking to meet our goal from foundations, and we have outreach to those and expect we can be successful by the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. And we'll see about whether or not we can meet our goals for revenues from riders, because ridership has been substantially down because people have been careful. The other thing I'd like to mention is that we have a program underway through our board to seek partnerships with houses of worship, particularly in distressed communities, communities with substantial people of color, which might include Hartford, but other portions of our 15-town region. So if anybody out there might be part of a house of worship that could be appropriate for this kind of conversation, what we seek to do is to provide a structure and drivers that would help people in houses of worship get to services or other events that would happen in those communities. So that's something that we're trying to do to be more deliberate and helpful in different areas of the towns that we serve. And we've been bringing many people to vaccinations, and we continue to do that. And there's much interest in that regard, and we're happy to do it.
You just went mute, Kevin. Kevin, you just went mute. Kevin, can you hear me? You just went mute.
Yes.
The glitches of WebEx. What can I say? Yes.
Is it working now? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Anyway.
No. Well, Kevin, thank you very much. Even though we didn't hear the end, I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, Gina, it's back to you for the senior centers report.
Okay. We have started our membership drive, and many people are renewing on their own using Rec Desk or calling in or mailing. So you have 3 options. And that's been working out rather nicely. Let me see, I can't read my own writing here. Oh, income tax. Our income tax appointments have been going great for this new system. We do have a wait list. So if anyone is interested and still has not had their taxes done, they would have had to have had them done either at Elmwood or West Hartford in the last 2 years. They could be put on the wait list, and believe it or not, people do cancel. So we had, I think, originally 30 people on the wait list, and I think we're down to maybe 4. So it is moving. All of our spring classes are virtual. We planned it that way because at the time we weren't sure if we were opening, and I'm happy that we did. The virtual classes are working out nicely. Our attendance has been great on all of them, actually. They have been free since this started last year. Our instructors were actually volunteering up through the fall. They volunteered in the spring and the summer. So we started paying our instructors. Now we're starting to charge seniors that want to take the programs. So beginning April 11th, I believe, all the classes, people would need to register online and pay for the program. They also may call and we can do it over the phone, or they can mail it in as well. We'll accommodate whatever. So we already have a bunch of registrations, which is exciting because that's the system that we've always used. And it's great because it works for statistics and for rosters and keeps everything orderly. So we're excited about that. There is one program that we are doing in person. We are using Westmore Park's outdoor classroom, and we're doing our line dance class there.
Ooh.
And we already have 7 people signed up. Our maximum is going to be 12. I think that space could probably do 14 or 15, but we're going to keep it small. So we're excited about that, and I want to thank Doug for allowing us to use his space. It's beautiful if you haven't seen it yet. And we're excited about doing more there. Doug is busy planning his activities, especially with summer camps coming. But the other program we're working on with him will be for early summer, and we're going to do an introduction to fishing for seniors.
Ooh.
One of the things we're focusing on this spring and summer are outdoor programs and exposing people to different hobbies, sports, and activities. So we're doing the fishing, we will do maybe golf, if you've never golfed before, beginner lesson, lawn bowling we're looking into, bocce, horseshoes, pickleball, a variety of things to try to get people outdoors and learning new skills and hobbies. So we're hoping that'll be popular. While we're on the subject of outdoor pickleball, as Helen had mentioned, our pickleball people in West Hartford love pickleball. That's all they want to do is pickleball. So in the past, they were able to play at the community center, in the gymnasium there, up through April or May, and then they would go outside and they played at either Walcott or Buena Vista. It's become so popular that people are fighting for space. They're actually already, I drove by there last week, Thursday afternoon, and the courts were full. So our pickleball group wants dedicated time set aside for them. And it's difficult because there are other pickleball players who also want to play. So we're running into a little bit of a problem. We're hoping everyone can get along and follow the rules. And basically, it's a first come, first served basis. It's been that way with tennis for 30 years, and it's worked out okay. So being that it's such a popular sport, it's great because it is a good sport, especially for seniors. So, we'll look at options, hopefully, to improve some other courts, possibly building pickleball courts if we could get grants. But at this point, there's more demand than we can handle, is the best way to put it. So in case you hear anything about pickleball, that's the scoop on that one. In addition to the outdoor push, we have scheduled 3 things for the spring that will be outdoors, major events. The first will be Earth Day, which is on April 22nd. We'll begin at Beachland Park. There's going to be a scavenger hunt. There's going to be a take and create bee pollinator project. There'll be guided tour walks of Trout Brook Trail, going over to Elmwood Senior Center and Community Center. We will have some entertainment at the gazebo, some pre-packaged refreshments, and we're planting a tree. We have sponsors. Westmore Park is helping us with this. The community center is helping out. The town's recycling person is also helping us. So it's going to be a nice cooperation, collaborative event. It is free. It will be limited to the number of people to keep it safe. So if you're interested, you just need to call or email and we'll put you on the list. So it should be a fun day. There is a rain date of the following week in case it rains. Is that what you're going to ask, Beth? Okay. The next event that we have outdoors, we actually did this already, but we didn't have people attend. We did a concert series at Atria Hamilton Heights.
Oh.
We will again do the concert series. It's the first Wednesday of the month. The first one is May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo. And we listed it as virtual. We will be showing it virtually, but we're hoping to be able to open it up for people to actually come and sit outside and listen. So that's more to come on that one. And then we're doing Cheers to 90 plus years. It's a free event for all of our members who are 90 years or better. This was a popular event we did here at the West Hartford Senior Center. We sold it out every year at 110 people. This year we're going to do it in the lower lot of the Elmwood Senior Community Center. People will drive in, they'll get their box lunch. They can either eat it in their car, or we will have circles spray painted on the grass, socially distanced, so people can sit with a lawn chair. We'll have entertainment. So we're hoping to celebrate our members who are 90 or better. It's free for them and one guest. So we're excited about that. This Sunday, we have a program on Richard Rodgers, on the music. It's a virtual program. It's video and music. It's Josh Ritter actually does the program. We've had him in the past, and he's phenomenal. So if you have a chance to sign in for it, you can go to that. It's totally free. We did have a grab and go scheduled as well. We're going to get a sweet treat from Middlewoods. So I think we do have a few openings left on that. So if you're interested, just give a call or email me and I can get you on that list. We have our Take and Create projects have been very popular. We're averaging 50 people each project. This project's sponsored by Bouvier Insurance, and it's a clay pot. They'll get dirt and basil seeds, and they'll also get decoupage material and napkins, flowered napkins, and they're going to decoupage their own pot. So it should be good. That one is sold out already at 55. But again, it was free, and people are loving these projects. We will continue, hopefully, to do these projects in the future because of the success. As long as I can find sponsors to help assist in paying for the material, we will do it. The other thing is that our intern, Emily, has been instrumental in coordinating these projects. This is her last project with us, and she'll be leaving us, but she's done a fabulous job with it. The Elmwood Senior Center full-time position will be opening up and advertised shortly. It's a rec specialist position, and it will be full-time, and it's in replacement of Kathleen's position. It's a little lower level than that, but it will be more programming and on-site, and I'll be supervising both senior centers and doing the administrative portion of it. We will be reorganizing both senior center offices so that we think as one, which makes sense and probably should have been how we were in the beginning. I feel that I'm totally equipped to do this because I've worked at both centers and I know both centers, and I have the staff that I have now. Lisa Hans, Deborah Kennedy, and Robin Collins all work well together, and we are a great team. So we're working on ways to streamline everything and make it the most efficient way possible. So some things will be better. We're hoping most things will be better. So this is an opportunity to say, how would we like it to be? So I'm really enthusiastic about that. Our volunteers have been continuing with wellness calls. In the beginning of the pandemic, we tried to reach out to every member. I believe even some people from the Senior Advisory Commission took on that role. We received names of people that wanted to be called on a more regular basis. So it's a slow process, but we have volunteers that are reaching out and trying to see how our members are doing. And that's working out well. And lastly, what I wanted to let you know is if you email me, I can sign you up for our constant contact. We send emails out twice a week. Monday mornings with what's happening during the week. And then on Fridays, we call it Fun Fridays, and we have things from the community that are going on. Sometimes we have short videos, trying to make it look forward to the weekend. So it's a great way to keep in touch with what's going on. And a lot of the things that Helen spoke about, you would have gotten if you were on constant contact. You would have gotten some notice of it. So I would strongly suggest you do that and encourage you to become members of the Senior Center if you're 55 or better.
Thank you, Gina. I am on constant contact. Also with the West Hartford Library. They do that too every week. So it's really a good way of being informed of what's happening around town. Does anyone have questions for Gina?
I just want to do a shout out for Gina, who is doing such an outstanding job with keeping residents connected and interested and engaged through this virtual format, as well as through these creative in-person events that she has coming up. Great job, Gina.
Thank you. It's all to my staff. I'm going to take credit for it. We've got great staff.
I think you all have done wonderful jobs. Thank you very much. This morning, Ellen Phillips emailed me with a question about the parking on LaSalle Road. And I directed the question to Helen, who has now contacted Dwayne Martin in engineering, who will be getting back to Helen, to me, and to Ellen regarding the situation with parking on LaSalle Road. If you haven't been there, it is part of LaSalle is one way, and parking is now rear end in. So it is a big change. And if we need to address it at an upcoming meeting, we will talk about it at another date. But thank you, Ellen, for bringing that to our attention. And now it's almost the end. We may want to talk about the agenda for future meetings. And one of the things I've done in advance of that is to email our mayor and our town manager to see if they will be able to join us at our April 20th meeting to talk about the town budget and the effects that there will be on seniors. I haven't heard back yet. I will let you know how that goes.
We actually, Aimee, sorry, we did receive a reply from the mayor that said, after congratulating you on your appointment, that Matt Hart and she would be happy to attend the commission meeting and speak to the members regarding the town budget and answer any questions. Matt Hart also forwarded to you his budget presentation, which is rather long, but you know, certainly that can be shared with your membership in advance of the April 20th meeting, which I suspect will be virtual, even though it's April 20th.
I think it's a good idea to continue virtually for the time being until we see how things play out and where in the future we can meet comfortably.
Sure.
And what I'd like to do now that I will have the information from Matt is get it to you earlier than the week before the meeting so that you have a time to go through and look at it. It is a long report, but there is a cover letter and there is in the first part of it a kind of a synopsis of what we should be looking at and talking about. So I would like to get that out to you before the end of this week. Are there suggestions for future meetings after that? Anyone?
Aimee, do we want to continue to try to invite Aimee Krauss from the Health District?
In May to get a report on how we're doing?
Yeah, status report, an update.
Okay, that's very interesting. Good suggestion. Noreen had emailed me yesterday to say that there was a meeting on the age discrimination bill that's before the legislature that I believe the Seniors Job Bank was in on that meeting.
Yes.
Would we like to hear from Derek again as things go forward? Is that a yes or a no?
It may be a great idea to have Derek come and give us a overall update, including the age discrimination bill.
That's a great idea. We haven't heard from him in quite a while.
Something else that's brewing in the legislature is something related. They're calling it the mansion tax, and so it's something very early on, but it would affect a lot of residents in West Hartford. The big piece that won't affect a lot of people I think it's a 22% tax on sales of homes over 1.5 million. That's not the one that I'm worried about for West Hartford per se. But the one that's really going to hit a lot of people here is a tax on sales of homes that are over 4.3, so $430,000, which a lot of homes in West Hartford will fall into. And so they're trying, it's not a huge tax, but it's still one that's being proposed. And the other thing that they're looking at that's even more preliminary is reducing the estate tax back to $2 million, which will hit a lot of people in West Hartford.
Yeah, I saw that in today's paper.
Yeah, so I'll keep everybody posted, and if this actually gets to a level where we would want to say something on behalf of West Hartford, because I don't even think a bills have been proposed. I think they're just proposing to propose a bill.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else? Yes.
I have a question
Sure.
to the group in general. What is being done about senior representation to these apartments that are being constructed where there's supposed to be affordable housing? My belief is that that's not targeted for senior affordable housing, but what is the state of the town in needing more affordable housing for seniors?
That's a very good question, and I think it's something that we can talk about at our April meeting, because we will have the two people who know about that with us. So Beth, will you be able to join us on April 20th?
I should be, yeah.
That would be great. I think that's a really good question.
Maybe that's a good speaker. I haven't been keeping track of the West Hartford Fellowship Housing remodeling.
Oh, that's Rebecca. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I will be in a few months. We can have somebody from West Hartford, from the West Hartford Fellowship Housing, give a report on their projected openings of the new remodeled units and stuff like that.
Good suggestion. Thank you.
I mean,
anybody else?
Does social services keep a wait list of the different openings at all senior housing in town?
We do have a list of senior housing in town, subsidized and non-subsidized. We do not keep the wait lists. Each housing complex or the housing authority, they maintain their own wait lists.
I just got a call from that new unit over on New Park Avenue over by the railroad track, and their projected wait list is 7 years.
Wow.
I believe there was an article in the paper this weekend. I think there was something up in front of the legislature about housing and affordable housing in municipalities. I can do some research and get back to you on that, because it did address, it was supposed to.
Karen, you just froze. Karen has disappeared for the moment, but if she can hear me, hopefully she will share that with me and I can get it out to the commission members. Thank you.
Sorry, I guess I lost my internet for a minute. But yeah, I'll get back to you, Aimee, and you can share it with the group.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments today?
Aimee, I don't know if this is a question for the town manager and the mayor, but I'd be curious on an update on what's happening with the Yukon property.
That's something to ask at our April 20th meeting, unless Helen has a comment? Nope, she's shaking her head no. Thank you, Rosemary. Good question. So bring your questions to April 20th. If there is nothing else, it's time for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Would somebody like to make that motion?
I make the motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
And we are adjourned at 11:09 a.m. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Aimee.
See you next month. Enjoy the weather.
Thank you, Aimee.
Bye.
Take care.